Auburn lands a former five-star from the portal in July?
In the world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie 5.
Let's go. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie 5, and we are ready to get after it. Happy Wednesday. After taking grenades, we've just been taking grenades left and right. We finally get some really good news as Auburn adds a former five-star safety, Jacoby Matthews from Texas A&M, to the portal. He's got a story. And we're going to tell it. What should Auburn expect from this? And then we saw it coming, but Auburn does lose another commit. We'll discuss that at the end. But before we do that, got to give a quick shout out to rowback.com. Use coupon code BARN20 to take 20% off your next order, and then the next order after that, and then the next order after that. You can use it forever. Polos, hoodies, swimsuits, doesn't matter. Whatever you want, they got it. Feels good, looks good. Above all else, it's just a great product, and they got some Auburn licensed apparel coming soon. So show them some love. It's rowback.com. So yeah, let's dive into it. I mean, all I could think of when I saw the news was I was thinking of the line from Dumb and Dumber. Just when I think you can't do anything dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. That's all I could think of. Man, it's been a rough couple of weeks as far as recruiting news goes. And then out of the blue, Auburn announces the commitment of Jacobe Matthews. Again, I kind of talked about it in the intro. Who is he? He's a former five-star safety. He was a part of that glorious, legendary Texas A&M recruiting class that basically has nobody left at Texas A&M. I was joking around. I said, could you take a team of kids that have left Texas A&M and go win the Super Bowl? Because it's a pile of really good players, and Jacoby Matthews is one of them. So he's from Louisiana. He's going to be your prototype safety body, 6'1", 6'2", 200 to 210 pounds. Played as a true freshman, was really good. And we're going to dive into more of his statistics in just a little bit, but I'm just kind of telling the story of how he got to Auburn. Played his freshman and sophomore year, had a lot of success, and then what happens? Jimbo Fisher gets fired. And I think he and Elko and the new staff and the direction and the type of defense that they were going to move to just didn't really fit. And he actually went into the transfer portal in 2023. So he's been in the transfer portal for about a year now. In the past year or so, he's been working academically to get back eligible in some junior college close to, I guess, wherever he's from. So he came for an official visit, which I think it was sort of kept under wraps in the middle of June. And now he's going to be an Auburn Tiger. So got to take that into account. He is a former five-star. He was very successful as a freshman and a sophomore. We're going to talk about his success here in just a second. But he has been out of football for a year. Now, what he's been doing that past year, we still got to find that out. How ready is he going to be able to play when he gets here? We're going to talk about that here in just a second as well. But nonetheless, Auburn adds Jacoby to what is already, in my opinion, a very talented defensive backfield, one of the more talented defensive backfields that, Auburn's had in quite a while, I think. The biggest thing is, and the hardest thing to do in this day and age, is have good depth for competition. it's so hard to create depth because kids don't want to wait. Kids don't want to compete right now. Understandably so. Why would they when they can go find either A, a pay raise, or B, a starting position elsewhere. And there's no limits or obstacles to be able to go do that. So, I mean, think about the safety competition. You feel like the strong safety competition is pretty much locked up. But now you have, gosh, you got Sylvester Smith. You got Tay Seymour that you brought in. You got Kinsley Lador-Falston that's moonlit at that free safety spot and corner. You got your two hotshot true freshmen. And now you throw in a former 5-star in the mix. I mean, just at that one position. Now, obviously, you could cross-train, and a couple of those guys could go back up Caleb Harris. But, man, you're adding a ton of folks. You're adding a lot of quality dudes in that defensive backfield room that can play, that can all compete and can all contribute. So this is to me the most intriguing addition maybe of the offseason, because again, if you can rekindle, if he can replicate what you saw at Texas A&M, my oh my, you have a unreal tandem between he and Caleb Harris at safety. I mean, that's elite level safety play that you could possibly get if he can rekindle what he had at Texas A&M. Now, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what he did at Texas A&M, why this could be a really good addition, and what to expect from him at Texas A&M here in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick word from our sponsors. All right, what to expect. Let's talk about his career at Texas A&M. He did spend 2 seasons at Texas A&M. He played as a true freshman, and he put up really good numbers for a safety, particularly his sophomore year, his second season. Naturally, once you're adjusted and you kind of get the speed of the game down, it's much, much easier. So just looking at that sophomore season, okay, that Texas A&M defense was really good. Now, they weren't good as a whole, but that Texas A&M defense was really good. And he was overall, when you look at number of snaps, like there's guys that can grade high that only get a handful of snaps. But when you look at dudes that get the majority of the snaps, number one, he took the 5th most snaps of everybody on that defense as a true sophomore. Okay, that's number one. Okay, and then after that, you look at when you're looking at who takes the most snaps, and then you're looking at their grades on Pro Football Focus, he was the 4th best defender on the whole team. You're talking about guys like Edgerrin Cooper, McKinley Jackson, Shamar Turner. Really good players. Walter Nolan. You're talking about some really good stud defensive players. He was the 5th best. When you go over to coverage, he's the best defensive back on that whole team as far as coverage goes. He had the highest coverage ranking of all the defensive backs on that team. His sophomore year, you guys know how I feel about this statistic that I randomly made up. I don't like pile jumpers when it comes to tackles. There's a lot of folks, they can rack up a lot of assisted tackles by just hanging around a pile and jumping in there and getting that assisted tackle. So I created a metric. I call it the tackle to assisted tackle ratio. I don't want to see, when I see tackle numbers, I want a high majority. I want 2-to-1, 3-to-1 solo tackles. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see, I don't want to see 100 tackles and 80 of them are assisted. Now, defensive backs are typically in one-on-one situations, so they're not typically box players. So they're going to have a lot more one-on-one opportunities. But he had 42 tackles overall. 32 solos. You kidding me? So basically, that's 3-1, baby. That's a 3-1 ratio. Let's go. 32 solo tackles, only 10 assisted. He had a sack. He had an interception, 4 pass deflections. Just a really good overall defensive back in the SEC. Very highly graded. Just a good player. I mean, he was living up to his ranking. And then you had the firing of Jimbo. You had the transition. You have him kind of being in the wilderness, so to speak, for a year. So if you can get back to that, if he can get back to that at Auburn, and he has 2 years to do it, and he's patient, and he's put in a little bit of work this past year to kind of be ready, be in shape, that's elite. That's pretty high level safety play right there that you can add to this room. I mean, the kid was a player. All those dudes from Louisiana can play football. They're dogs. Now, he's got to come here, and in a very, very short time, he's got to get up to speed. So what are the expectations really for a kid like this? I think at worst, if he's in shape, at worst, you have an awesome special teams guy. And I think that's probably where he will start out. Can he have the humility enough? Can he be humble enough to accept a role on kickoff team, on punt return, whatever? Can he accept that role and then acclimate himself into playing in the defense? The good news is he played for DJ Durkin for 2 years. So in theory, the system, the terminology should be a no-brainer. It should be just step in and play. So that piece of it should make things sort of on a fast track to getting onto the field outside of just special teams. But at worst, you have an elite level athlete. If he's in shape, if he's done the work, you have and I would imagine if he came in on his official visit in June, that would be something that was very well taken into account if you're going to take this kid. I would imagine if you had him visit that soon and you laid eyes on him and you're able to talk to him, you would have been able to see that, okay, physically he looks like he probably is pretty close to being able to be ready to play. He's a couple of weeks away from getting here. So once he gets here, he's obviously going to have to get in the weight room, get conditioning up and whatnot, because you just can't replicate. It's hard to replicate the level of conditioning and workout that you need in a college weight program than on your own. I mean, let's just be honest. You have to be a really disciplined individual to be able to replicate that on your own. So he's got to get here in a couple of weeks. Again, the playbook should be easy to pick up. And then we're going to start fall camp here soon. I mean, just a little bit, maybe not even a month away. And then see what happens. Again, we talked about the safety rotation. I think that free safety spot is sort of up for grabs, that center fielder safety. And that's where he played the vast majority of his snaps. He played a little bit of everywhere. He played a little bit everywhere. You know, he played in the box. He played on the slot. He did a little bit of everything. But the vast majority of his snaps were, again, that free safety spot. So, yeah, he took, 206 of his – almost half of his snaps were at free safety. Took a couple snaps. Took a few snaps, handful of snaps at corner, a good amount in the slot, and then he took some in the box. So he's not afraid to come down in run support. So you get him in that rotation. Competition just breeds excellence, and that's 90% of development is competition. And you've got some really good competition. That position, in my opinion, is up for grabs. I don't think Sylvester Smith has won that job yet. He's good. I don't think he's won that job yet. And now you got Tay Seymour that can compete. Now you throw in Jacoby Matthews into the mix. You got options in already really good, really talented, really deep defensive backfield. So hard for me to point to a negative, especially at this point in the year. Seems extremely low risk. And I would imagine being out of football for a year probably didn't command a huge price tag. So that's another thing. You're not really that makes it completely low risk. And who knows? If you get sophomore Jacoby Matthews, no fly zone, baby. No fly zone. Let me know what you think about the pickup. Let me know what your opinion is, expectations, all those things. Now it's been fun, and we had a little bug, and we needed that. You did lose another commit, and it was a pretty substantial one. Denarius Gray, your first commit of that 2026 class. He committed on New Year's Day, 2024. So he's been committed for a year and a half. And he flips his commitment to Kentucky. We kind of put that out there that was the case. We talked about the situation. Is he a wide receiver 1? Is he a wide receiver 2? Is he a wide receiver 3? Kentucky sees him as their wide receiver 1 in that class. Auburn, I guess, apparently did not. He was going to be, in the mix, really good player, but didn't look at him as that, focal point wide receiver. And he went ahead and made the flip, and Auburn has no wide receivers now. So a little bit interesting strategy-wise to, in my opinion, if you only have one wide receiver, that's your wide receiver 1, unless you have some basically in the boat. And that just doesn't seem to be the case, at least now for Auburn. So right now you got Jace Matthews you're still chasing from Mississippi that we talked about. He really loves Ole Miss. Maybe you get him. I don't know. Right now, it seems like Auburn has no momentum. So if he commits anytime soon, you kind of feel like that's probably going to be Ole Miss. He loves Lane Kiffin. Cedarian Morgan should commit to Alabama, I think, in the next couple days. Could that be one? If Alabama has a meltdown and Auburn looks good, could that be one that you keep in your pocket for down the road? We'll see. Recruiting day by day is becoming more and more transactional. So being the highest bidder in July doesn't really help you a ton. You really got to be the highest bidder in December. So can you stay on these kids and keep them engaged so that if the situation presents itself, you can pounce later on? I think that's what Auburn's going to have to bank on. I think that's what they are banking on. Multiple things. Success on the field. Success on the field will bring in, you would think, more money. It'll bring more hype. And then you've seen, I talked about it on Monday, you've seen the I'm trying to think of the word, basically, where you've seen the roadmap. You've seen the blueprint through Florida on how you can take negativity, put some wins on the board, turn it into positivity, and get hot on the recruiting trail. So Denarius Gray, your very first commit, your longest tenured commit has flipped his commitment to Kentucky. Wish him the best. Who knows? There could be an opportunity down the road where, he could end up back in the class. Who knows? I can't imagine going to a team where they can't throw the ball, but whatever. Wish him the best. So, guys, let me know what you think about the safety edition. Let me know what you think about recruiting in the comments, and we'll mix it up. I pretty much respond to every single one of them. So, guys, thanks for listening again. We'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.